The cave breathes. Cold air slides across stone. The floor is littered with shapes, statues, warriors, kings, hunters, every face frozen in the same final expression: shock, fear. And then a shadow moves. A young man steps between the statues, holding a bronze shield in front of his face like a mirror. His hands shake, his breath is shallow, because somewhere in this darkness, something is breathing back, a hiss, slow, heavy, and then the sound, hair sliding across stone. Not hair, snakes. Hundreds of them. The creature shifts, massive, ancient, hungry. One look, that's all it takes. One look and flesh turns to stone forever. This is Medusa, the monster kings failed to kill, the nightmare that turned armies into statues. And standing in front of her is a boy. No army, no armor, just a mirror and a whisper in his mind. The EU? Woman's voice, cold, calm, strategic. Don't look at her. That voice belongs to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of war. And tonight she has chosen a favorite, because the boy with the mirror, Perseus, is about to kill a monster that even gods feared. But here's the strange part. This wasn't bravery, it wasn't destiny. It was a carefully planned execution, and Athena designed every step.
Unveil the legends.
Before the cave, before the snakes, before the head rolled across stone, there was a kingdom built on pride. The island of Seriphos. Its ruler was Polydex, a king with soft hands and a rotten heart. He wanted one thing, a woman. Her name was Dano. She was beautiful, quiet, untouchable. But she also had a problem. A son. That son was Perseus, young, strong, protective, and as long as Perseus was alive, Polydex could never take Dano. So the king did what weak men always do. He smiled. Then he set a trap. At a royal feast, he announced a ridiculous gift ceremony. Every guest had two. Bring him a horse. But Perseus was poor. He had nothing. So the king leaned forward and said something cruel. Then bring me the head of Medusa. The room went silent. Everyone knew what that meant. No man who hunted Medusa ever came back. This wasn't a challenge. It was a death sentence. But Perseus was young. Young men hate backing down. So he nodded and sealed his fate. But high above the palace, someone was watching, the goddess Athena, and she smiled. Because Perseus was never meant to survive alone, the gods stepped in. First came Hermes, messenger of Olympus, fast, sharp, dangerous. He handed Perseus a blade, a curved sword, thin enough to slip between scales, sharp enough to slice through fate. Then Athena stepped forward, calm, strategic. She gave him something stranger, a shield polished to a perfect mirror. Never look at her directly, she warned, because Medusa's eyes didn't just kill, they ended time. One glance, and a living body becomes cold stone. But even that wasn't enough, so Perseus hunted the creatures who knew where Medusa lived. The three ancient sisters. They shared one eye, one tooth, and Perseus stole the eye, held it hostage, until they told him everything: where to find the Gorgons, how to reach them, and what he would need to survive. So Perseus gathered the impossible: winged sandals, a bag that could hold a monster's head, and a helmet that made him invisible, the helm of Hades, a gift from the god of the dead himself. Now the boy could fly, disappear, strike like a ghost, all guided by Athena, every weapon chosen, every step planned, and finally, he reached the island where nightmares sleep, the lair of Medusa. But here's the part most stories hide. Medusa wasn't always a monster. Once she was beautiful, a priestess, devoted to Athena. She served in the goddess's temple, pure, loyal, sacred. Then one day, a god entered the temple, Poseidon, lord of the sea, storm-bringer. He saw Medusa, and desire turned violent. Some versions say he seduced her. Others say something darker, something brutal. Inside Athena's temple, a sacred place, and Athena returned to find the aftermath. But instead of punishing Poseidon, she punished Medusa. Her hair twisted into snakes, her face warped into horror, her eyes became weapons. Anyone who looked at her died. Medusa became the monster, not the victim. And centuries later, Athena sent Perseus to kill her. Think about that. The same goddess who cursed Medusa now wanted her head. Why? Was it justice or something colder? Some historians believe Athena wasn't helping Perseus. She was finishing unfinished business, cleaning up a mistake, because a cursed priestess, wandering the world, turning kings into statues, was bad for a goddess's reputation. So Perseus became the blade, not the hero, just the weapon. Back in the cave, the snakes stirred. Perseus walked slowly, eyes locked on the reflection in his shield. Left step, right step. Behind him stood hundreds of stone corpses, proof of failure, proof of terror. Then he saw her, not directly, only in the mirror. Medusa slept. The snakes shifted like restless rivers. Her breathing echoed through the cave. Perseus lifted the sword. For a moment he hesitated, because in the reflection she looked almost human. Then Athena's voice returned, cold, focused. Now the blade fell. One clean strike. Bone cracked. Snakes screamed. And Medusa's head rolled across the stone. Something impossible happened next. From her severed neck, two creatures burst into existence. The winged horse Pegasus and the warrior Chrysaor. Born from blood, born from violence. Perseus stuffed the head in two. The magical bag turned invisible and fled, because even dead, Medusa's eyes still turned the world to stone. And Athena finally had what she wanted, the head. She mounted it on her shield, the aegis, and from that moment on, even the gods feared her gaze. Perseus returned home a hero. He turned the cruel king Polydex into stone, saved his mother, and his legend spread across Greece. But the truth feels darker, because the boy who walked into the cave was never the real mastermind. Athena was. She armed him, guided him, used him, and in the end, she kept the monster's head. Maybe that's the real lesson hidden in this myth. Sometimes heroes aren't chosen for their courage. They're chosen because they're useful, and Perseus was very useful. But the story doesn't end with Medusa's death, because the blood that spilled from her neck created something else, something far more mysterious. A winged creature that would carry heroes and gods through the sky. A creature born from violence. Born from tragedy. And if the birth of Pegasus sounds strange, wait until you hear how that winged horse helped start another legendary war. But first, one question lingers in the dark. Was Perseus truly a hero, or just a weapon in Athena's long game?